Hey guys, how's it going? It's Connor Bajanko here today, and today I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should invest in more expensive reels or more expensive rods. Let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should be investing your money in more expensive reels or more expensive rods. So right here with me, I got my most expensive rod, which was my Dobyns Champion Extreme HP 742 spinning. Picked it up this last winter and it has been awesome so far. And then I got a Bantam MGL by Shimano in 8.1 to 1, and both retail around $350. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about them, why I choose specific price points for my different rods and reels. Rods and reels are very important to me. I believe that you should be putting at least 90 to 95% of the fish in the boat that bite. I think a lot of lost fish are due to not the proper rod, reel, line setup, and your bait. If your hook's not sharp, then it's over. I really do think tackle is so important, and so many people do not pay attention to their tackle. Investing in these higher end rods and reels is just so important. I see so many guys, throwing $50 rods or super old gear, and you can catch fish. There's no doubt about it. You can catch so many fish with a cheaper combo, but just having sensitivity and the right blank for the bait you are fishing is so key. You want to put those fish in the boat, and if you have too light of a rod, too heavy of a rod, it really can affect how many fish you're putting in the boat. That's where time in the water comes in, experimenting with different rods and reels and figuring out what is the best setup for you. That's why personally I've invested in over, I believe, 15 now Dobyns rods and Shimano reels, and that's why tackle is just so important to me. And in some situations, rod and reel is going to be more important than your actual bait, because if you have the right setup, but maybe your bait's not as good, at least you're going to be putting all the fish that bite into the boat. Today we're going to be talking about rods and reels. So starting off with the rods. So higher end rods, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. You're going to want to invest more money into rods where you're going to need bottom contact. So specifically anywhere you're fishing deep or making long casts with the bait that is sitting on the bottom. Right here is why I got that drop shot rod. I'm going to be fishing very deep on the St. Lawrence River and up in New York on Champlain. So that's why I bought that rod, just to have a little bit more sensitivity and feeling light. And that's really key with those baits on the bottom. And then you can invest cheaper rods into baits that you're going to make just long casts with, like reaction baits, where you're not going to need as much sensitivity, but you just need to have a good rod to throw it. But with rods, I love to have like a lot of rods. I would have more rods than reels. I think right over there right now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sitting without reels. I just have a couple of reels right now that need to get repaired, but usually I have 2 or 3 rods that don't have reels on them. And if you guys can do that, I would highly recommend it, because having multiple rods is going to allow you to switch out your reels and really get dialed in with the bait that you're throwing. It's not the most convenient, but if you guys are on a budget, definitely having more rods than reels is going to be a great option, because you're really going to be able to pair that reel and rod with exactly what you want. With the reels, it's more just gear ratio. Like you can have 3 bait casters, all different gear ratios, and then you're pretty much covered to fish whatever you want. You're just gonna have to switch out your baits more often. Moving on to high-end bait casting reels. So the Bantam that I got right here has fluoro on it right now, but I usually put braid on that. I'm making long casts with a buzz bait, a swim jig, and that's really where you want to invest in your high-end reels, is making long casts. So throwing baits like spinner baits, chatter baits, or things you're gonna fish over a long distance, like buzz baits, bomb swim jigs sometimes, chatterbaits. Those are all gonna require a long casting distance. That's where those higher end reels really come into play. And then also, it's very nice to have, it's just nice to have higher end gear, and it just makes it a lot more enjoyable throughout the day. If you guys have heavy like rods and reels, it's gonna hurt your hand after fishing with it for a long time. But you can use those cheaper reels for flipping, pitching, stuff where you're not gonna need as much casting distance. But I would also recommend putting more of your money into reels that you're gonna use for things that are heavy and you're gonna require a lot of power. So frog fishing, things where you're around grass, swim bait fishing especially. You're gonna want a bigger reel for those and a little bit more powerful. This Bantam, like I said, always has braid on it, and it's gonna require a lot more power. Fish a buzzbait swim jig on it a lot, and it needs to get those fish out of the grass. But another option for reels, if you guys can't afford, maybe a $350 reel like the Bantam, you can buy like $150, $100 reel, and put bearings in it. So that's actually what I did with my Daiwa Tatula SV. I put orange seal bearings in it. It's about a $200 reel, but the orange seal bearings I think are around $50 bucks. And you put those in your reel, and the casting distance is so much better. That reel is, not my favorite reel just because of the size. It's a really big reel, but it will cast really far. If you guys look at that thing, it is beat up. The knob, it has a knob that, like, the cap is missing, the button is missing, the felt thing on there, and there's so many scratches on it, but that thing still performs and bombs pretty much any bait I throw on it. So that's another option, but I would definitely invest more money in those reels where you're going to be needing a lot more power. But that's just an in-depth breakdown of whether or not you should spend your money on expensive rods or expensive reels. The conclusion, obviously, it really depends on what kind of technique you want to throw, whether it's bottom baits, throwing a long distance, flipping, anything like that. But if you guys got any questions, especially about Dobyns and Shimano products, definitely leave a comment down below. And I got some exciting news for the channel coming up. I actually have a website that I'm working on right now. So that's going to be pretty cool to go along with this channel, and it's going to be getting a name change here in just a couple weeks. So we'll see you guys. Uploads every Wednesday and Saturday. Make sure to like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Tackle Box. Thank you.